the school resource officer, the animal control officer, and part-time detail officers. He will also be responsible for managing officers and incident scenes, ensuring effective communication throughout the chain of command. As a mentor, counselor, and voice of reason, Lieutenant Diori will continue to provide guidance and support to both our personnel and the community. In the absence of the chief and the captain, he will serve as the department's lead representative. Lieutenant Diori has been a member of the Plastow Police Department since 2011. During his time here, he served in the patrol division with approximately a decade of service on the evening shift, in addition to being the day shift supervisor since 2022. Lieutenant Diori has been involved in numerous notable incidents, investigations, and arrests during his time with the Plastow Police Department. Also, he served as Department Field Training Officer and held numerous advanced instructor certifications, some of which were Department Firearms Instructor, and also attended the FBI Leader Program, where he received a Trilogy Award for that attendance and participation. As a result of this, he's directly trained and mentored many of the officers currently employed by the agency, including all 3 sergeants. Additionally, Lieutenant Diori has previously received numerous life-saving accommodations for successfully performing CPR and utilizing an AED and Narcan. As an Exceptional Service Award and for successful negotiating and de-escalating an armed suicidal despondent individual in a state of crisis. Lieutenant Diori earned a bachelor's degree in criminal justice from Westdale State University in Westfield, Massachusetts in 2010. Lieutenant Diori is joined here tonight by friends, family, and co-workers, as you say, make up most of the gallery behind us.
So these are the type of motions that are always nice. Someone who's been with, the police department since, what'd you say, 2011?
Yes.
So that's 14 years. That's impressive, and that's an impressive list of everything we've been through and gone through. Thank you. Yeah. These are the ones that you like to see.
That's right.
Nice.
Retention, longevity, and he's well respected by the members of the department and the community.
Yeah, and it's almost, you probably held almost every job there, so you know what the jobs are like and everything. So that's great. Anything to add?
You hit it on the head. Just congratulations
Thank
here.
you. Appreciate it.
Appreciate all you do for the town and for our police department. So.
All right, just one last thing to do, swear in.
All right. So on his swearing in, Lieutenant Diori will be pinned by his wife, Hannah, along with his children's Elmer and Carly.
Aww, that's so sweet. Little kids getting up there with him.
Do that for me. I, Robert Diori,
I, Robert Diori,
do solemnly and sincerely swear and affirm.
do solemnly and
Sincerely
swear and affirm
that I will bear faith
that I will bear faith
and true allegiance
and true allegiance
to the United States of America
to the United States of America,
and the state of New Hampshire,
the state of New Hampshire,
and will support the Constitution
and will support the Constitution
thereof,
so
help me God.
help me God.
I, Robert Diori,
I, Robert Diori,
do solemnly and sincerely swear
do solemnly and sincerely swear
and affirm
and affirm
that I will faithfully
that I will faithfully
and impartially discharge
and impartially discharge
and perform all the duties
and perform all the duties
incumbent upon me
incumbent upon me
as a full-time police lieutenant
as a full-time police lieutenant
for the town of New Hampshire,
for the town of New Hampshire,
according to the best of my abilities,
according to the best of my abilities,
agreeable to the rules
agreeable to the rules
and regulations
and regulations
of this Constitution
of this Constitution
and the laws
and the laws
of the state of New Hampshire,
of the state of New Hampshire,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Perfect. So we're going to invite his wife and children up so you can have them. I'm going to turn this way folks, a little bit just so. that concludes the swearing in and the pinning. The folks going to retire downstairs for some photographs and
Absolutely.
such. And I'll be sticking around along with the captain for, I think,
Yep.
soon up on the agenda.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Lieutenant. Do you want them to go do pictures and stuff, and then we can take care of a couple things before they come back?
All right, Chief, we're not going to let you get away. And what we have next up is the consideration of new police vehicles. You know, we looked at it briefly at our last meeting, and just a couple, questions, have you guys kind of go through everything. Just want to make sure we understand everything, and so we can, see where we go. So from what I gather is you're looking for, take 2 cruises out of service, is that?
Yes, we have two old cruisers that we're looking to potentially auction off, yes, to get rid of the fleet.
Okay, and
Yeah, I have a memo that lists out the year, just a brief summary through the memo that I had.
okay, perfect.
Greg, as far as the year, make, models, mileage on the 2 that we're looking to get rid of.
And the one of them's of 2016, that's a Ford Explorer,
Yes, correct, yep,
and that's got a little over 122 on it.
yes,
And the other's a 2019 Charger, and that's got a little over 103 on it.
yes.
And you
yep.
wrote this. Now, are these currently in service right now, or just the repairs?
Both out of service right now. The next page I've attached the quotes to get them, that we've received from our repair shop to get them up and running, but the issue is they wouldn't be running to a point that would meet safety standards for normal day-to-day patrol. This will get them running. We'd be lucky to be able to use them. They told us in the detail fleet if we were able to get them up and running again, but the repair shop, they just recommended we not use them for day-to-day patrol. They just past their life as far as safety goes.
2016 is 9 years old, right?
Yes.
And how long
Yes.
will it take you to, if we approve this ultimately, how long will it take you to secure the vehicle and load it up and?
To secure the actual vehicle, they actually have towers available right now, so we'll be able to
Okay.
secure a vehicle quickly. It's the upfitting, to
Yep.
outfit them with all the lights, sirens, all the police equipment. That's what's the most timely. That's a good couple of months by the time they order all the equipment. We place the order, it all comes in, and then we actually have them install all the equipment. So I'm guessing she's 3-4 months probably.
Three, 4
At a-
Right.
So
I would guess at a
probably
safe
springtime.
estimate.
Right.
Yes.
And that'll be 3 to 4 months to be decaled,
Yeah.
everything put in the
Correct. Some things are being transferred. If you look at the spreadsheet that the captain attached, some items we're using, such as the radios, will be transferring from the old cars to the new cars. The radar units, I believe, are both new units.
Yes, that we purchased. So we will purchase under grant money.
75% reimbursement from the,
And I know these are the mileage that we're showing. Those are driving miles,
That's
right?
the driving mileage, yes. Those are not engine hours.
In the engine hours, how does that work out? I know you've explained it before, but just to make sure everyone kind of understands it, because
Basically, I'd have to get the calculation. It's every hour of engine idle time that a cruiser has or any vehicle has, it equates to, I have to look it up, it's a couple of miles on the engine itself. So I should have pulled the engine hours. I don't have it in front of me, honestly. They have thousands of hours. They probably, honestly, have more idle time than they do drive time on them, just because they idle constantly on the side of the road running radar. If we do have to use them for details, things like that, they constantly idle. So, I mean, basically when these cars are turned on at the beginning of shift, they're not turned off until 16 hours later sometimes. Like, they just run constantly just
Right.
because of the call. So the engine hours on these are, I don't think we ever got those, Chief, did we, for the?
I don't, but according to the internet, one idle hour often equates to 25 to 33 miles of wear. And some of the mileage, the hours are exceptionally high, well over the physical mileage itself.
I want to say when we talked about this before, the hours were over 13,000 that the chief had provided before. So
That sounds about right. And again, going back to the repairs costs of the vehicle versus the value of the vehicle, when we did a value assessment of them, it's very hard to find it. There's no Kelly Blue Book on actual police cars. It may have the same year, make, and model of the car, but not the line. So, for instance, you'll see there that we have an estimate for a 2016 Ford Explorer, but that's a civilian version. And as you well know, police vehicles are worn and used much heavier and tougher than a civilian version. So you can't get a true Blue Book value. What's listed there is a civilian version of that car. The police version value is even much lower because of the hard riding and the hard hours that are on the car. So the repairs, just on the first glance of what they've done, exceed the value of the vehicles. One of them, I think, says that there's a cylinder on car 11. If you see the paperwork, it says has a small leak in the cylinder head, needs head gasket sets and checked from machine and shop. So that's once they get into the car, they're predicting that it's going to need a new, I'm no mechanic, but new cylinder heads and some other machine work.
Yeah, once you
which
start
could be
get-
thousands of dollars.
Yeah, once you start getting into head gaskets.
And up to this point, like the last couple of years, do you have an idea on how much we've actually put into these vehicles maintenance-wise to keep them up to speed?
Yes, I believe that was in. So
Oh, it's on page
It's on
4.
the analysis here, the 2011 Dodge Charger was about just under 6,000 last year.
Okay. And is there a reason you prefer the Tahoes over the Explorers?
Yes, so we've had great luck with the Tahoes that we've had. We have 4 now total Tahoes. Their reliability has been good for them. Other departments around have been using them before we have, and we got good reports from them as well. So we looked at that before we purchased the first 4 Tahoes over the past couple of years. They're much more roomier. I may have mentioned that in one of my last presentations. They're a bigger car than the Explorer. The Explorer is very thin and narrow compared to the Tahoe on the inside. I wish one of our officers here from patrol that were fully equipped.
Yeah.
When you start putting the uniform on, the vest, all the exterior carry equipment, the belt with the firearm and all the equipment, they become 6, 7, 8 inches wider than they normally are. When you start adding 3, 4 inches, 5 inches on each side of them with all the equipment, it's a much roomier car. And also our equipment that we carry that's on them. The equipment we carry in the back of the car now is increased more. We're putting more equipment back there, larger equipment, first aid kits, AEDs, traffic cones, lockout kits, so on and so forth, patrol rifles, less than lethal shotguns and such, that a vehicle and equipment fits much better in the cargo area. And in between the driver's section and the cargo area is the passenger section, as we call it, or the detainee prisoner area. That as well is much roomier. And as we know in society, people are bigger now than they were before.
Why are you looking at me when you
I'm
say that?
looking around the room. I'm on day 8 of a diet myself. So for the new year, I started early. So it helps with, if you will, the comfort and the safety of transporting arrestees back to the police station or up to the jail when needed, as opposed to the crammed in, especially with the Chargers are much smaller in the back and a lower profile. And that goes then great segue into the other Tahoes are higher up off the ground and give us better traction, better clearance for off-roadway use and for snow-covered and different conditions for driving. So there's a variety of factors that go into that. We definitely don't want to go back to lower profile, lower sitting vehicles. It's just
But if
lots
we're
of
gonna get
problems.
new vehicles, I wanna make sure it's what you guys are the most comfortable in, right? That makes a big difference.
They asked, we took a vote. The Lamborghini is what they wanted.
It's a little tough transporting though.
Yeah, well, we're going to put them on a roof like a deer.
There you go.
But yeah, so we've had the use from the officers. We've got a lot of feedback from the officers. I can't show using a pizza, the next guy doesn't. But for the most part, people like the Tahoes over the Explorers for a variety of reasons, including clearance and the more room availability. Especially the other thing we have in there, as you see on our list, we have an MDT computers. We just added in last year, thermal printers, barcode scanners. So again, there's more and more equipment going into these cars that we need the room, and that making that passenger or front passenger compartment smaller by putting the computer over there. It's giving them a little bit more leg room when they're riding 2 officers per car on the occasion when it's training, observation, and things like that.
Okay. And Greg, this would be covered with the CIP? You have the money there for that?
Yes, there's plenty of money in the CIP to cover that.
No, I know we're looking at like a rotation is what you guys wanted to get on. So if you did 2 this year, if you followed the rotation, what would we be looking at next year and possibly the year after?
Depending on so car 4 and 5, I should say car 10 is the next issue we're gonna have. That one's up there in mileage. It's
Okay.
27.
It's on the chart.
Yeah, sorry, I have the fleet roster here, but it's a 2017 Ford Explorer. It's on its last leg, honestly, too, so we'll try to run that as long as we can to get that running, but it's not equipped. We personally didn't put an MDT in it, knowing that it was end of life, so we didn't want to waste the money putting an MDT setup into that cruiser. So we're using it on patrol right now, minimally or sparingly, just because it's not in good shape. So we're gonna, at some point, hopefully replace that. Maybe the plan was to do hopefully for 1 cruiser next year to replace that aging cruiser, and then be back in rotation, like 2-1 to get.
Okay, so you'd have 1 next year probably is what the goal would be next year.
For 1, that would be perfect to replace car 10 for next year.
Yep.
We're trying to keep the rotation. We bring the new cars in, we put those in patrol, and as the mileage and hours age, we start to slowly move them to less use in patrol. The next step after that is then use them as spare cars, and next step after that would be more detailed cars or cars needed for special things. But we try to keep the mileage rotated through. We don't drive, for instance, car 7, we don't drive it 3 shifts in a row. 1, 2 shifts the most. So out of the 3 shifts in a day, and we put that aside and move into the next one. So we try to evenly spread the mileage, the wear and tear, and everything on the cars. So it's been significantly delayed over the past couple of years, and it's one of the things we've been improving on is increasing the newness of the fleet, so we keep the mileage down, the wear and tear down.
And unfortunately, since car 8 and 11 have been down, the other cars have been just kind of getting to the excess mileage.
Yeah, using more.
Yeah, just because we have no choice but to assign officers
Right.
to the 5 cars that we have right now. So couple of cars are running 24 hours a day right now.
So after this, then you'd be down to 3 Explorers, right? Is that what you'd have left?
Yes.
Because eventually, I'm assuming you all want to go to all Tahoes after this, right? That's the goal. Questions, Jay, Liz?
No, I just see like a lot of mileage, so, that's the concern for, CIP and looking at vehicles down the road. So I appreciate that you're trying to get things as far as you can.
We have to make sure we keep the vehicles safe for the officers to drive. So not only the mileage and the cost of repair, the officers have to be comfortable and safe to be able to respond to a call for service. I think it was the Charger. We did have it fixed, but the front end started falling out of the car. An officer was on a call, and we had to have the car towed back.
Yeah.
We did the repair because we didn't know where we were going to be at. We needed to keep cars up and running. But again, we spent that money, as you see in the list there. But now it's at a point like it's just wasting money at this point, putting money into where the next thing's going to go, the next thing's going to go, and to look like down the line that it's about where it's going to be, where transmission is going to be affected on that car as well.
Yeah,
So-
I get it. It's like your own vehicle. You start throwing good money after bad.
So what's the all-in cost purchase of the new vehicle and then having them outfitted for each?
Yeah, so we have a chart here, the spreadsheet, and we broke it down by the 2 different vehicles. The captain can explain on that. He did all the work, the hard work on all this, so.
So basically, just to go line by line real quick, the difference between the two cruisers, the PPV1 and PPV2, they're both patrol vehicles. The two just includes a cost for a new MDT setup. We currently have 6 MDT setups in the cruisers right now. So with the first cruiser, we'd be able to transfer an existing MDT setup that we have now, which will be included under the Island Tech cost, the lighting siren package cost. So there's no cost to transfer from one of our old cruisers to the PPV number 1. So the McMulkin Chevy has a cost of $54,997. That's the New Hampshire state bid price. That's the lowest price we could find in this area by a couple $1,000s less than a bunch of other dealerships in this area.
It's almost $5,000 off.
Yeah, under MSRP. The Island Tech cost is the standard cost for all our equipment, the prisoner transport cage, the lightings, the siren. That's the cost for that. The police radio are going to be, like Chief had said, transferring a current Motorola radio that we have from one of our existing cruisers into that, so there will be no cost to us for the radio itself. Graphics is standard cost, $1,650 for graphics for a cruiser from Kelly Graphics right down here on off of Main Street. The radar unit's $2,900. We do get a 75% grant cost reimbursement for that. So the town will be paying $728 for a brand new radar unit for a cruiser. And then on the bottom, the only difference is the second Tahoe would have the new MDT setup. That's roughly $7,800. That's a tablet itself, the keyboard, the printer, the barcode scanner, and that's an 80% grant reimbursement cost. So it would be about $1,500 cost of the town after reimbursement. I've attached all the quotes from the vendors in the remainder of the package.
So we would pay,
So the total cost to the town for the first cruiser without the new MDT setup after grant reimbursement would be $77,295 for a full package.
okay, so,
So the grant's worth roughly about 11,000 between the two, right? Somewhere in that neighborhood.
The grant's going to be,
When you look at both of them,
it's about,
it's about 2,000 for the first one, right?
yes, yep, and about say 6,000 for
About maybe about 9.
6, 7, 8, yeah.
So we were talking somewhere. So the grants are worth roughly about 11,000, give or take
Yes,
a few
between the two
dollars.
radar units and the MDT setup.
So we pay it out initially, we fill out the paperwork, send it up to the state, and they send a check back.
Okay.
So we have to lay out the money originally. That's why the third column has that full price, because that's the original outlay. Again, I will caution that it is all estimates as close as they can. If their suppliers bump up by the time we get this car ordered, the cage, for instance, goes up a couple $100. It could go up a couple $100, but this is as of the other day, as close as we can come to what's under our control. And as you know, these vendors left and right, these suppliers are increasing costs for everything.
Right.
So after the grants, we're probably looking at like a 155 or something total.
Yeah.
Somewhere in that neighborhood.
For both. And that we have that in the CIP. So the town has been supporting this process for a couple of years now, where they're
They approve us to do it.
for us to replace vehicles. So this is the plan we put forward, and we want to make sure our equipment is, we do our best to maintain it and make sure we get as long a life out of it as possible. And sometimes we have to spend the money to replace these vehicles. So.
And to your point, we have a regular maintenance program. We have all warranty work gets done at the local Chevy dealership. The non-warranty work gets done at Car Tech Plus here in town, nice and close for that. Tires get done at Sullivan Tire here in town. So we are always on them, always checking. We have a whole system. Officers fill out a form, let the captain know. We schedule an appointment. We get the cars in there ASAP. If it's a safety issue or a complaint that's going to put anybody at risk, we usually take the car offline. We don't wait. If it's a regular, maintenance thing, of course, we continue to ride it, drive it until we get an appointment. They're very good with us over at all the dealerships. We get state bid pricing on the tires at Sullivan. We get a slight discount from Car Tech on the repairs to the car. And again, we try to give local businesses the business back. Car Tech's locally business. Sullivan, although it's a family chain, they have a local office here. Kelly Graphics, we give them some business. A lot of people want our business. I literally this afternoon before we came here, another dealership sent us an email. Hey, what do you need for 2026? You looking for any cars? So we're trying to keep it close as much as we can, and to be good to the community. That's good to us.
So do we have a total dollar amount between the two?
I think my math is right, but $156,166.10. If I did my math right.
There's a motion in the back that we had put 175 in case they're up to 175 in case the very back of your packet in the folder. Last page, I think.
Make a motion to purchase the 2 police vehicles as discussed in tonight's meeting, not to exceed $175,000. The funds will come from the police department capital reserve account.
I will second that.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, you'll have them in time for Easter, hopefully.
Thank you.
Just another question, before we auction off those other vehicles, can we strategically place them around town to get people to slow down?
As decoys.
Can we?
We can tow them there. We'll clean the snow off them every day.
You have no idea, it probably would help a little bit, right?
I don't want to sidetrack, but if you look at our statistics, and I'll give you some numbers. I'll send them to you in an email.
Yeah.
Last month we had, don't quote me exact, 455 traffic stops
Wow.
Thank you.
And that's all around town, not just Main Street, right? It's all around.
all around the town. Right, we spread the wealth, so we try to get as many
Most of
neighbors.
it's speeding? Or a mixture of a lot of different things?
It's a mixture. Majority, I'd say yes, speeding majority, but yeah, a mixture. Yep. And we have specific, the grant patrols that we put out as well, so they're targeted at DWIs, at distracted driving, speeding. So
Okay.
the officers that have been working those as well, this is throughout the month. So.
Okay, good.
And to your point, Chief, I hear it. I have a scanner, and you guys the police department's constantly pulling people over. It's nonstop. So you're doing your job. So that's all we can ask.
In between handling calls for service, because we don't have anybody strictly dedicated just to do traffic.
Exactly.
Our officers are weaving in, going to a call, doing traffic, community policing during traffic. So there's nobody dedicated to that. It's when they can.
Right.
There could be a whole shift where nobody does traffic, unfortunately, because they're back-to-back calls. I know, again, I'm sidetracked, but the other evening, I happened to be in town, and I was doing some work, and I was listening. It was an overlap of 2 shifts. It just happened to how it worked out. There were 5 people on the road, which is very rare, by the way.
Yeah.
It's typically 2, maybe 3, but it just happens to be the way the rotation overlapped. So 5 people available, I should say. They were back-to-back calls. There were 2 accidents at the same time, a hit and run, a warrant arrest who walked in the lobby, and then another arrest that occurred at a motor vehicle stop. So there was no time for traffic enforcement that night. I forget what night it was, last Thursday, I think. Because there was an overlap on last
And whenever
Thursday.
you have an arrest, you need 2 officers there at the
Need 2
arrest,
officers.
right?
So unfortunately, we can only staff 2 cars that pulls both
Right, so if you have an arrest, that's what they both are.
station. Yeah.
The moons aligned for us that night because it was so busy. We happened to have the overlap. I think it was a lieutenant because it was a Thursday. He works Thursday nights. We hear that Thursday night.
I was here, yeah.
He was here. I was in town, but I wasn't out on the street. I was doing office work, so I wasn't available. But it worked out, and everybody was somewhere. I actually started heading towards the accident at Cumberland Farms, and then they realized it was a hit and run, and they didn't need me there.
Yeah.
But so that would have been the 6th person. But that, again, that's a rarity. But we're very busy, and you see the statistics that we've been putting up once a month on.
And I think that's good to get the statistics out there, just so that everyone in
Right.
town knows what's going on.
How often do you get pulled for mutual aid for other towns? I know for the fire department, they get called a lot, but
Yeah.
It really depends on the shift, honestly. It's more like overnight or when there's less staffing in surrounding towns.
Yeah.
During the day, it's not very often, unless something major happens. It tends to happen more on the overnight shift, where the towns around us are minimally staffed, so we'll go over and help other towns overnights or late nights more often than during daytime hours.
right.
I can pull the stats on. I don't know off the top of my head. I can pull the stats on something like that. But
fine.
daytimes are usually self-contained in here, and whereas the departments are staffed pretty well during the day. So
But there is also those circumstances where we have mutual aid and we need to go help.
oh yeah,
Yeah. But we will always leave a minimum 1 officer in town. If we have to go, one guy or girl has to stay back, and the other one goes. And then if we need to then move to another plan, we move to another plan.
There's a lot of moving pieces.
Can I, before I go, can I just highlight a couple things,
Absolutely.
particularly what's going on this week?
Go right ahead.
First off, tomorrow at noontime, our newest police officer who you swore in a few months back, Officer John Lafferty, will be graduating to Police Academy tomorrow at 2 in the afternoon. It's typically on a Friday. For whatever reason, the Academy changed it to a Tuesday this week. So we'll be going over there, at least the captain and I, perhaps the lieutenant up at his graduation. So you'll have one more officer on the street. He'll be in training, so he doesn't count as a body per se, but he'll be there and he'll go through a 12-week or so FTO program. He did go through a couple weeks before he started the Academy, waiting for the Academy to start. So he'll be joining us tomorrow. Well, he'll be sworn, he'll be graduating tomorrow, and then whatever his rotation is when he'll actually be in his actual training. So that's Tuesday. On Friday, Sergeant Tuhulu will be in his canine partner Saxon will be graduating from the Boston Police Academy, and they'll be deployed to the streets. I've got really great reports back from the other departments and from the training academy that both Sergeant Tuhulu and as he goes by Sax is doing a great job out there. I think they were the top of the class one day. They did some building searches and really good comments from other communities that have dogs in the class as well, saying how well the two of them are doing.
And will there be a specialty for the dog?
Not as of yet. This is just the initial. They'll be going back, predicted to be going back in August for a specialty.
Okay.
99% sure that specialty will be canine. Narcotics for the canine.
Okay.
It all depends. I'll have to get a report back of how the two of them did in the academy and what things that he was key to and what things he did really well at. But right now it's patrol, apprehension, search and seizure, evidence recovery, a whole host of other things. And Sergeant Tuhulu will come back and train the rest of us in the police department how to work alongside him and his partner, how to provide cover, how to work as a team together, and a lot of patrol tactics. So there's a couple exciting things coming out just this week alone. And then lastly, I'll wait till next month, but some cool things are coming for us for the SRO car. Speaking of vehicles, we have a much older 2014 Ford Explorer that the SRO has been using. It's the old gray design with red trim, which is really, really old. But we get some exciting news coming out with some cooperation of some local vendors and donations coming forward for that vehicle. So I'll tell you more about it next month. A little teaser out there for now.
Should we plan to have a swearing in for Sax?
We will be doing a swearing in for Sax. We will. We're just making sure. I asked Steve to actually get if there's some sort of verbiage they would use beyond here in the town.
Yep.
He has his badge already. His ID is just waiting to find out what his finished weight is at because he's dropped a couple pounds, I think the two of them actually.
Yeah, I think
running
that's what
around.
it said.
And I wasn't looking at you when I said that, I swear.
Two woofs, he agrees with it.
Love to have you guys in one.
Yeah. So again, there's rules of engagements for having a dog out in public,
Yeah.
and Sergeant Tuhulu will make sure that's all followed. He stopped by the station about 2 or 3 weeks ago. He came in to visit us, fully muzzled, fully restrained, and leashed up.
No, that would be good for the public to know what the rules of engagement are. So we definitely
When we know,
wanna know that.
you guys will know, ladies, guys and girls will know.
Sounds good.
So exciting times in our Plastow Police Departments. Again, it wouldn't be there without the support of the selectmen, the citizens, the businesses, and everyone who makes it possible. The voters as well for voting on the budget, voting on our everything they vote for, and the contracts of the officers, and with the destination to be for a police department around Southern Hampshire.
All right, perfect. Thank you guys for coming in. We
Thank you.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Chief, thank you, Captain
thank
Mazza. Merry Christmas if we don't
Yeah,
see you.
Merry Christmas. It's hard to believe it's right upon us.
I got some shopping to do next.
Just remember, I'm a double X. Okay,
Tall?
I am a tall as well. All right, next up is the acceptance of Stephen C. Savage Way as a town road. So I think we all know where the road is, correct? Right over behind police.
No, you should tell me. Just kidding. Yes.
I can walk you over
Safety
there if you want. Right, it's right over there. So, do you have anything on this at all, Greg, or anything? Everyone has signed off on it, right?
Right. I mean, similar to the acceptance of North Ave a month or two ago. Similarly, the planning board approved this subdivision off of Elm Street, which for those that don't know, Stephen C. Savage Way goes next to the public safety complex and up behind the cemetery.
Yep.
So with everything, meeting the requirements, being received by the planning department, the letter of request from the developer, the town council review, a field report from Keach Nordstrom with a letter of recommendation, then also a letter of acceptance from the highway supervisor, Dan Garlington, that everything has been checked off so that the town may accept it as a public right-of-way, so that we will then assume the road for snow removal, salt, sand, summertime, and the like.
Yeah, and you can see on the back page is the correspondence from Danny at Highway, K&A, we got there, that's all part of the packet.
I make a motion to accept the roadway known as Stephen C. Savage Way and described in the deed submitted by Palmer Woods LLC as a town of Plastow public right-of-way.
Second by Liz. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So 300. And so when would we have to start plowing? Almost
Tomorrow.
maybe tomorrow?
I'd say tomorrow.
Yeah, but let's cancel if there's any snow coming, cancel it.
Well, it's supposed to be 50 degrees on Friday, so.
Yeah, I saw that, which is crazy, right? It's cool out there today. All right.
Yeah, that storm, that one yesterday was just a slow,
Nuisance.
it's
Yeah.
a nuisance storm. Those are the ones that cost more money typically.
Yeah, those are the
Correct.
worst. Yeah, you'd much rather the 10 inches in 4 hours. One cleanup. Okay, next up is our favorite time of year, CIP recommendations, warrant article discussion. We'll review these, and the goal would be to put our first meeting in January to vote on these and look at them, to finalize them. That way there, we can get them to the budget committee, hopefully for the 6th. I would imagine they're probably meeting on the 6th. Would be my guess. If not, we'll have it on the schedule for them. So
I don't know. They might want to meet next week,
that's possible. I mean, I don't want to speak for them.
but depending on what happens tonight, can we provide them a draft
You probably
for
give
them
them.
to review?
Yes.
Get familiar with it ahead of time.
Yeah, you could probably give them
Absolutely.
everything we have, right? Just
Yes.
send it off to them. So the CIP committee met. That was last week, correct?
Last Thursday.
Sometimes these weeks kind of meld into each other, especially this time of year. So a couple of the ones they did go over, from the feedback they got from the fire department, they were fine with the 20,000 for the radio that was requested. For the capital reserve fund, the department equipment capital reserve fund was 30,000. They were recommended that as well. The only thing they really wanted us to discuss was the fire department on the apparatus. The fire chief requested 150,000 for the apparatus capital fund. They wanted us to discuss, see if we think it could possibly go any lower than that. I believe last year was 140,000. And I know the problem is that covers, the vehicles, right? The ladder truck and all the others, the tanker, everything else. And I know those vehicles have gone up quite a bit.
Right, so, I believe the conversation, correct me if I'm wrong, was that they're looking to maybe shorten the budget a little of what is being appropriated through warrant articles. So if we could find a way for us to lower that apparatus by a little bit, it would, they were looking to see if we would recommend that. So I'm gonna throw out a number of $100,000 to decrease it to for just next year. Just to get the conversation started, to see how people feel, and move our way up or down from that.
Yeah, because obviously the big problem is, right, we're trying to see us get as much money.
Money in the
see it.
account, yes.
So if you decrease it, somewhere down the line, it's going to have to be increased again.
Increased again, yes. And I understand.
Which means you'd have to, if you go down to 100, you'd have to make up 50,000.
Mm-hmm.
And that would mean next year, I'm sure he's going to come back looking for the 150 plus the
Plus
additional
the
to make
addition.
up.
Right, because what are the trucks are over $1 million, like.
Oh, well,
2 or
I
3.
think the ladder truck right now, correct me if I'm wrong, Greg, that's probably north of 4 million, right?
Or 2.
Two now?
We bought the ladder truck that we had for 1.5, and I think by the time it was delivered, they were going for 2 or 2.1. If I'm
Right, but what I'm
Not
getting at,
mistaken.
when you figure when we're going to need to, that it would need to be replaced again, which is probably going to be
20 years,
20 years down the
25
road,
years.
you're probably looking around 4 or so.
Could be.
Just trying to
Yeah.
think it out.
So how much is in this currently in that CIP? And what's the next vehicle that we need to replace?
That I don't know.
That would be a chief question.
Yeah, right.
Well,
I do know,
Was it in the plan that,
didn't see that.
there's
didn't see
approximately $380,000 in that, but we've already approved the VW grant.
Right.
That's an 80-20 match. So of that 380, 250,000, give or take, has already been accounted for.
Okay,
So we're really, we're sitting on $100,000 or $150,000 towards our next big purchase.
all right.
And there is one of the other trucks that we have has been an extensive amount of money has been spent in the last 2 years on repairs of it just to get it and keep it going. So
and what's the replacement value on that vehicle?
at least $1 million.
Yeah, there's nothing cheap with that department.
Yeah,
Those
no.
vehicles are not cheap.
It's not.
Well, because it's safety. It's 100% safety of the community.
And if I'm not mistaken, when we got that grant, for that VW grant, he did lower the CIP request, because that was a higher amount 2 years ago.
That's correct.
They almost want to say that was about 167, somewhere in that neighborhood, something like that.
So, and I do know that the chair of the CIP said that he would like to get together after, like in January, February, to start to go through everything. So I think that would be a great time for us to be able to go department by department. What do you need? What are the costs? How long? And just make a plan with the new chair, because, Tim Moore did a great job
Yeah.
with keeping everything, but, the new chair needs to make it his own, so.
The thing is, you have the budget committee has to have the public hearing on this, right?
Right,
And that has to be done probably
the
like
public
the
hearing
13th.
is the 13th, so. And do you think you're gonna have a meeting before? Are you gonna have a budget meeting before?
There's one tomorrow night.
But the thing is, these warrant articles come from the selectmen
Right,
with the dollar amounts on
They
it.
still need to vote on them.
Right, they have to vote on
they
it.
need to vote.
So they need it in time to talk, so,
Well, we
Yeah.
can at least get them, whatever we decide tonight, we can at least get them the copy so they know what's coming
Right.
towards them.
Mhm.
But I could see if they would be, I don't know, have a meeting next week too.
to start looking at, or at least have some of it in front of them, so then they're
Have
ready to
something
go.
so that
on
they're
the
ready and
6th,
understand.
And then if they have it by then they should be able to vote on it by the 13th. So I mean, the warrant articles, it's us, it comes from the selectmen.
Right,
But they do have to vote on it. So SJ, where do you stand on the fire department To be honest with you, I think I'm fine with the 150, just knowing that they reduced that a few years ago.
Right.
Yep.
I would, yeah, I don't want to cut us off down the road either.
Because it's all, if you take it off this year, you're putting it back
We
in
need to
next
figure
year.
out where we're gonna put it in
Right.
following years.
Well, and all depends on which vehicle's up for replacement next.
Right.
It sounds like the next one that would be up for replacement would
After
be
Is
the one with
what-
the repairs.
what we're doing the engine, which we're not getting for a couple years, right? With that VW grant.
It was a 40-month lead time, so,
Are we even a year into that?
yeah, we're,
Or right about there?
I believe so.
So we're still 2 years
So we
out.
got like 2 more years.
Yeah, and once those vehicles, that should be good for 20 years or so.
But
Just like
outside
that.
of that one, what is the next vehicle? Ambulance 2? One of the, forestry vehicles? I don't know. I don't have the plan. So, or at least the last plan.
So,
Well, I would say keep it at 150. If anything, I would say let's go 125 just to make it a little less
painful.
painful.
If
Right,
I,
and then, the 25 is, I think, more manageable to,
so then next year, you're looking at, you'd be bumping it up. If you did it over
150.
5 years, you'd be going 155
right,
for the next 5 years.
right.
So,
But
yeah, you're taking it down a little bit this year, but eventually
we're gonna have to bump it up, and I understand that, but I also understand the pressure point of people.
no, absolutely. Everybody's feeling it. There's-
Well, I think what you're going to see is when we meet in January and start to really dig into the CIP and get actual numbers, you're going to see probably those deposit numbers go up coming next year
Mhm.
because this equipment
It's
costs
very expensive.
very expensive. And outside of, we try to put money away to anticipate that, but sometimes we may need to have a bond. We had to go out to bond for, if there's a piece of equipment that's failing that we're going to need to replace and we don't have enough in the CIP,
No,
we may have to make that decision to bond it.
Right, there's a bond on the ladder truck.
Yep,
Right. So, I'd probably go 125 and I'd be happy with that. It's, we got to still continue to put,
to put the money
We've
in.
got to put
Side
something,
towards
absolutely.
Yeah,
I don't want to just not put it in there. Or at least put it out to the voters to approve or deny.
All right. That'll be good. We'll go to 125.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then CIP was fine with police department at 80,000. And the building maintenance, it's 60.
Yes.
Those were their recommendations.
Okay.
That was from the CIP. And we do have some warrants here. We can look at that right now if you have that packet. Obviously, we don't have anything for the general fund yet. We'll wait on the budget committee for that, to fill that in.
Are we close to a default number?
No. Honestly, no.
Do you have a sense when you might have that? I know.
By year end.
By
How's that?
Thank you.
And then, so then the next one, we don't have the numbers yet in the water department. I know Greg's working on the water department one as well to get us those numbers. And the next would be the contingency fund, which is for $85,000, which is standard. We usually always have that.
So that's for unanticipated issues that come up. Septic fails, something
Correct.
catastrophic fails. This gives us a opportunity to tap a resource that 'Cause sometimes we can't just take it out of the budget, right?
Correct.
So this gives us that opportunity to, in case of emergency.
Right.
And then if we don't spend it, it goes back into the general fund, and then we
Do it again next year.
give it back.
Reappropriate
We
again.
typically give it back to the taxpayers when we set the tax rate.
Which is something, that's a common one we have on every
Yep.
year. And then,
Just,
yep.
there
no.
might be people paying attention that don't know what these
No,
are.
absolutely, absolutely. These are all CIP things. Then the one, Article 5 would be deposit to the Highway Department Equipment Expendable Trust Fund. That would be to deposit into the Highway Department Expendable Trust Fund. And that would be $100,000, which I think is the same amount as last year.
That is correct. What I did is I took the warrant from last year and made some adjustments to that. I know pulled out the transportation infrastructure warrant that we had last year, given the fact that the Main Street calming project is being paid for 100% by the state of New Hampshire. So that came off. Also, based on what you had said with recreation, I pulled recreation off as
Recreation.
well.
Right, so yeah, right, those two
So-
don't, so we won't see those this year.
Even though there's a couple on here that are in addition to the CIP committee recommendations, but those two are off.
Yep.
Okay.
And so that's for 100,000. If we,
Do we want to vote on any of these tonight?
I'd rather vote on them on the 5th when we have everyone here.
Okay.
I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
This is a good time to look at it, and then if you
And
have questions to
review it.
adjust.
And then this might not be the final list. We may look at this, and on the 5th, we may decide to pull some of these
Or
or
just- right.
add them or whatever.
Yeah, so that gives us a time to look at it. This is like the first glance, but something like this, I like to have the full board if possible here.
Makes sense.
The next one would be the Building Expendable Trust Fund, 60,000. And after that's a deposit to the Library Capital Reserve Fund. That's 55,000, which I know that's for the building maintenance, which they've done a great job keeping up with that building. I know, the next one's the Revale Capital Reserve Fund for 25,000. It'd be nice to build that up, because, if we ever have to do the Revale again, which we, probably in a couple of years, we may look to have to do that again.
We're going to have to do the reval.
And I'm thinking we're gonna have to probably do the Revale before the 5 years is up.
Right.
Then we already talked about the fire apparatus to 125. We can rediscuss that number again at our next, on January 5th, when we meet again. So, not necessarily etched, so we can definitely talk about that. We already talked about the fire department equipment capital reserve for 30. We already talked about the fire department radio capital reserve for 20. Then we have deposit to the public safety communication capital reserve. That's 80,000. Deposit to the police vehicle capital reserve fund. That's 80,000.
So going back to the communication one,
Sure.
can you just refresh my memory? What's that one again?
That is the comprehensive plan to improve communications around town.
Okay. Do we have money in that fund currently?
Yes,
Okay. Thank you.
you're welcome.
And the other kind, CIP one they'll have, this is the last one. It's a cemetery maintenance expendable trust fund. That's 25,000, which I know we've been spending that because with the expansion.
Correct.
We got to be close to wrapping that up, right?
They're laying out the grays.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. What's left after that?
It's a good question. Fencing, whatever the,
Probably to, fence it in and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then these next three would be new ones, correct, Greg?
correct.
That we're looking at. One is with where everyone's been talking around town. I know it was the thought, as we discussed tonight, we can't have somebody out patrolling just for traffic,
Yep.
nonstop, because for the obvious reasons we talked about. So what this would do, this would add 2 police officers for just traffic enforcement only, correct?
Correct.
So they wouldn't be pulled away for anything else?
No, they would be 95, 99% traffic enforcement, the time spent, unless there was an emergency, that needed their, attention. But other than that, they would be on shift as their primary focus of traffic enforcement.
Okay.
The amount there to put in 2 officers, 150,000 would be assuming a July 1 hire for 2 full-time officers from July through the end of the year, with those positions being included, full-time for a full year in the 2027 budget.
So I think this is one of those we'll have to think about.
What you thinking for 2 officers? Just, overnight in, like during the day, they would,
Better coverage.
Better coverage.
I mean, police department's 24/7, traffic's 24/7. So one officer at 40 hours, when you're talking 7 24-hour days, it's good, but it's not, an extensive amount of coverage.
And so I think we need to think about this, see, do we want it to be 2 officers on the warrant article, 1 officer?
Right. But also to add to that, I know there may be grants available that might be able to offset some of that. So maybe there's an opportunity there to dovetail a grant into this as well and maybe lower that number. I don't know, maybe with if there's any new big box stores coming in, we can get them to pay for one of the officers. Like I know Walmart had done that years ago. So, any opportunity we can, I think adding the traffic enforcement will be great. But it's big pill to swallow.
Yeah, what this does, these 3, it really I think, this one and the next 2, it'll put the decision into the people in town, what they really want to do.
Yep.
And, for something like this, to me, that's where the decision should come from them,
Yes.
whether they want to support it or not. The next one would be the mowing and upkeep of the Route 125 islands and other common areas. I know we do get emails during the summer asking about the weeds and growing, but that is the state that owns those medians now. We turned it back over to them, correct?
That is correct.
And they only do it like twice a year,
If we're lucky.
if we're lucky.
Correct.
But at least this year they had a weed whacker out there. And they got everything.
Were there any fires out there this year? We had one year that I know there were.
I think when they put mulch out there, it used to,
Yeah, it would dry up. Someone would flick the cigarette out the window.
cigarette. But no, this is, the other common areas too, up and down Main Street with the, Safe Routes to School has created some bump outs and the like. And even with a traffic calming project, in the future, it will create some additional needs that need to be addressed.
Right.
So.
All right, and so you have the sum in there you have for 100,000. So this is one we'll have to think about, see what we want to do.
And I would put it out to the taxpayer and see what their tolerance level is for taking control of something the state
Yep. Yeah,
has a responsibility for.
right. And then the last one we have is Municipal Transportation Improvement Fund, RSA 261:153, Roman numeral 6. This would be, shall the town vote to adopt the provisions of the RSA just mentioned to authorize the town clerk to collect an additional fee of $5 per motor vehicle registration for the purpose of creating a municipal transportation improvement fund, which shall be a capital reserve fund established for this purpose and governed by the provisions of RSA 35, and further to name the select board as agents to expend from this fund. The said fee would become effective April 1st, 2026. What's the reasoning for this, Greg?
The reasoning similarly to the mowing and the upkeep is this would be a way of, in a small bite of $5 per registration for the town to collect monies to, set aside for transportation-related items. The RSA says the funds may be used for engineering, right-of-way acquisitions, and construction costs of transportation facilities, including electric vehicle charging stations, and for operating and capital costs of public transportation only. They may be used as matching funds for state or federal funds allocated for local or regional transportation improvements. So there's towns I know that will, through this, will pay for the line striping in town. They'll collect it and then they don't put it as part of the budget, and they pay for line striping, or, it's transportation related, it's sidewalk related. It could be used for, repairs costs of the sidewalk equipment as well that we use to clean the sidewalks.
Right.
Probably repairs to the sidewalks itself, right?
And repairs to the sidewalks or installation of future sidewalks as well.
And so instead of being part of the budget, we have this fund.
And this affects everybody. It affects, the commercial, anybody that registers a vehicle, renters, any passenger vehicle.
All right, so it's another one. Think about what we want to do.
And I've seen several towns are doing this next year, just for the upkeep and maintenance of areas in their.
Yeah, and I think the state's going up with the fee too now, aren't they?
Yes, in the state,
Yeah, I think today the town clerk just sent out
send something
an
out.
email blast about the state registration fees are going up for renewals and new vehicles.
Yeah.
And so,
So, take a look at this over Christmas. And, we can make our changes. We'll make those at our next full meeting, which will be at the beginning of January.
and then, Greg, could we get a copy of that just sent over to the budget committee for their meeting tomorrow night, just so they have it for informational purposes?
Absolutely. And the two articles too that I, slipped my mind to put in is the CBA, the town hall collective bargaining unit, and then the special meeting default, if you will.
Right, so there'd be one additional one. And the CBA, obviously, it's being discussed now.
Yes.
All right, perfect, thanks. Next up, determine our meeting schedule. So our current schedule just runs till the end of December. And I know this is really the last scheduled meeting we had for this year. There's a possibility we may have to meet on, I think it's the 29th, is that Monday? In case,
That was set as a tentative.
it's a tentative, right?
Yeah.
That's in case we have to, basically if there's anything to be encumbered or if anything else comes up that we have to meet.
Is there
So
anything we need to do? Do we need to meet next week on anything?
there's nothing I have at the moment.
I don't think so.
I mean, if something ever popped up, obviously, we could do something, but I don't think there's anything there that has to be done.
I think we could be in a position to finalize the warrant articles, or at least most of them.
By next Monday?
Yeah.
We didn't include that as a meeting, so we need.
Yeah,
to
so
include
that's-
coverage.
That would be the thing.
Okay.
I mean, unless you think you could have it and you want it to definitely meet on the 29th.
We're not required to televise it, so
No, we're
if we
not
don't have
required
anyone,
to.
we don't have anyone, but
But the warrant articles, I think, are
I'm just
important.
asking, do we need next week to make any decisions on the warrant articles?
I don't think we do, right?
It's up to you.
It's up to you guys, but I think unless you really wanted to meet on the 29th, because that's a tentative one we have right now.
Well, maybe
Until then?
maybe
Or
we play it by ear and see.
And see
how
if they're
far-
ready, and then you can definitely figure it out.
Yeah, so if we
I-
have numbers,
I know the 29th I won't be here.
Okay.
I'm probably gonna be driving through Nebraska.
grab some corn.
Yeah, yeah, I gotta drive to Utah, so. So we'll play that by ear, some we can certainly discuss.
Sounds good.
So now let's look at the meeting schedule. So looking at that, I think if we look at it, we should definitely meet on January 5th. I think we really have to do with the warrant articles, right? That's, we have to vote on it by that day. And then that way there with however we vote it, we'd have it turned over to the budget. Now, the question would be, the 19th is closed. We're closed because of the holiday.
What about the 12th?
That's what I'm getting back to.
Okay.
Do we want to meet on the 12th and the 26th?
So I think,
The 12th may not necessarily be a bad idea because I don't know what, the budget may come back after the next couple meetings
Right.
for us to look at something.
yep,
Maybe we just have it on there just in case, and then if,
So do the 12th as a
we have it
tentative?
scheduled, and if we need to cancel, we cancel.
Yeah,
yeah.
so make that a tentative.
And then I would say the 26th, we
We-
keep just to
we-
troubleshoot.
Well, the 26th I would want to meet because deliberative is on the 31st.
We should meet
And,
before
and
deliberative.
I, right, absolutely, we should always meet that Monday before. So we'll meet on the 26th, and then that would take us into February, which would be, we'd be scheduled to meet on the 9th, and then the 23rd. We'll get into March, which would be March 9th, which is probably a good day to meet the day before the elections, on the 10th, and then it would be the 23rd.
That works.
So that would take care of those 3 months. And let's see, we have no non-public session minutes to approve, or do we?
We have yes, we do have some. We just don't have old ones.
Okay, yeah, the older ones previously sealed, we'll table those till the next meeting.
So, one passing.
And you wanted to add an item too, right? On the snow? You texted me yesterday?
We can wait until the 29th. That's fine.
It's up to you. I don't know if someone wants to make a motion.
Do we need to keep them sealed?
Yes, if they're all,
Yeah, because I think we
they're all
voted on them.
sealed.
We sealed,
Well,
This
this is
setting
just the
is-
minutes.
Yeah.
We don't need to seal the minutes for
not the
that
minutes,
meeting.
yeah.
Okay,
Right.
I make a motion, we approve the non-public minutes from December 1st, 2025, and to unseal them.
and I will second that.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Here we go. And we need to approve the consent agenda. On the consent agenda, there are two accounts payable manifests for December 4th and one for December 10th, 2025. BOS draft minutes, 12/1/2025. Deputy Treasurer appointment, Emily Blair. A raffle permit for the Timberlane Community Music Association, and a deed to burial lot number 571.
And we have an additional item. You should have a second agenda somewhere. You already had that, it's highlighted.
Got more papers here.
Not everyone has it, Bill has it.
What was the other one? Trying to find it here.
I can tell you, it's, the additional item is a new ballot manifest for December 12th, 2025.
All right, so,
Is in the signature folder.
yep, I did see that. So the additional manifest,
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda for December 15th, 2025.
And I'll second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So 300. And next up, Greg, what do you got for us in the town manager's report?
Well, first I'd like to welcome Audrey. For those that don't know her, Audrey is joining us and helping out in the selectman's office, filling in for the previous employee, but learning from Beth and the like. And she has worked for the town previously, so we are welcoming her back to a similar role to what she was used to before. So has spent a lot of time with budget warrants, also with New Hampshire DOT, which is another item that we can discuss tonight. Based on the traffic calming study, there's a draft letter in your folders for discussion. Department heads, personnel had a meeting with planning board reps on their new fee schedule. Have been working with legal counsel and participating in negotiations on the new CBA. Also IT, we've been getting a lot of, still had 2 accounts today that were shut down for some unusual activity emanating from California with a couple of email accounts. Made sure the county taxes have been paid, the trustee of trust funds transfers have been done as well. And we have an offer out for a new recreation director. So the individual has accepted and
Oh,
will be
nice.
starting in January.
Yeah, I thought I saw that. So beginning of January, perfect.
Yeah.
Great.
We'll have to, when she's on board, we'll have to have her come in.
Just in time for summer rec.
Yeah.
Well,
Thank you.
yeah, that planning starts early. That's a big program.
And gearing up for end of year, with December 31st fast approaching, that's for sure. So
Yeah.
keeping an eye on the budget with the snowstorms, coming, the
How
little
we-
pesky ones.
How are we doing with that so far?
What, the budget?
I know we're over the budget.
Well, we've got November is in your, packet.
Saw that.
It's, we're going to be watching it very closely between now and the end of the year, that's for sure.
Yep. So the next meeting, we may have to act on something, right?
Mm-hmm. That's about it.
All right, thank you. Now, selectmen's reports. Liz?
I attended the CIP, planning board, Ann DeVos, her retirement, and I want to just wish her well. And we also had a discussion about the traffic calming. So that's what I have.
All right, Jay?
We did have a meeting about traffic calming with town manager and Liz and some other administration in town. So we'll talk about that after. I wasn't able to attend the CIP last week because I was out of town for work. So thank you for stepping in, Bill. Appreciate it. I did miss Dee's retirement party. So congratulations, Dee. I wish you the best of luck and enjoy your newfound freedom.
28 days.
28 days of freedom. And then I just have budget tomorrow night. So and that's it.
All right, attended the planning board meeting, went over their warrant articles that they're gonna have. I believe there's 10 of them. I think they should be pretty simple, hopefully this year. I did attend Dee's retirement. Did attend a recreation meeting. I'd like to thank Tyler's not here tonight, but to thank Tyler. I know Emily downstairs and the rest of the Recreation Commission for helping out with all the tags that were on the tree downstairs to get everything out. I know they were all filled. So they got everything out, which is nice. Nice to see. So that's what I have. I do a planning board meeting this week. And I guess we got to discuss the traffic calming letter.
Absolutely.
So what do we have there?
So basically, and then the next step of the process is to send a letter off to the project manager as well as the commissioner, assistant commissioner of New Hampshire DOT, expressing, interest on moving forward and or concerns as well as part of that. So in front of you is a draft letter to that effect, basically signaling the interest, recognizing, the project has been ongoing for 14 years and that the town is interested in moving forward with the project with certain, obviously, some minor adjustments, shortening of it a little bit, but also working in conjunction with the safety division of DOT to maybe install some stop signs and some other traffic calming measures in addition to this. So
I know I saw earlier you guys were part of the discussion.
I think part of the conversation that we had with DOT is they were looking for us to say it's a go, but with what they presented. We then, Jay and I came back and said, well, we want to make some concessions with you coming into, we need them to kind of work with us and make some compromises. So that's where we made some of those compromises in the letter that we're looking at to forward to them.
And the thing is too, with the money that's available, you really don't know what they're going to be able
Right,
to
in
do.
the $850,000, how far is that actually going to get us? And they claim that once they start the project, the state's going to have to find the money, but I'm not sure how that will work, so.
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So about the money piece, like right now, I think, and we asked them when we were there, like, what is that going to fund? They're like, well, if you break it up into thirds, it'll probably fund the third, but we can go out and once we get to the next step in the process, they can go after the additional funding to do the rest of the sections. So as an entirety, we need to accept the plan as they presented it, but they weren't outside of us asking and putting in some concessions. So some of the things that we want to point out in that was in the letter, you guys did a great job putting this letter together, by the way. Thank you. These were some of the requests that we want them to address as part of this project. It will start from at the library end and it will end north side of Poet Park. So one of the things that we discussed was just after the crosswalk out here ending, that will be the end of the project.
Yep.
So basically right where the Sumner is next door. So
Yes.
that crosswalk right there.
Yeah.
Right there.
So it would end there. We did talk about, and they did talk about this at the public hearing, was addressing the bump outs around the school pickup line because it's really going to bottleneck that area. So they're going to take out, or what we would like them to do is take out those bump outs, and they're going to put in signage into those parking areas that will be striped where people can queue up there to get into the school, and they'll have signage there for, no parking between these times.
These hours, yeah.
These hours for,
And they were going to shave off around the corner.
Yeah.
So that the bump out wasn't like in the middle of the street with that.
one of the things that we also talked about was having crosswalks at each street crossing. Now, it's more of a signal to drivers when they're driving down the road to say, Whether they're going to do these things or not, that's yet to be determined, but they said they would be willing to work with us on it. So that was one of the asks that we had. We asked them to reassess the parking situation at the corner store, because that's going to be a challenge, and they've already started that process. And then the other consideration was to extend the roadway. Part of the plan was they had it at 30 feet, and Shay brought it up during the discussion was, what about extending it to 32 feet? So by asking them to at least consider that, they can go back and rerun their numbers and plans and see if it's something that's feasible. That way it'd give us a little more room with our safety equipment,
Plowing a little bit.
plowing, allowing people to be able to pull off a little bit, giving them a little extra room to pull off the road if the police or fire are going to an emergency. So, and I think the important piece of that was the plowing too, because I think at 30 feet it was going to be
tight.
tight. It's
Right.
going to be very tight. So.
Any discussion about stop signs at Pollard Road?
I believe, and correct me if I'm mistaken on this, but he said that the plan as is and the stop signs could not be added into that. So it would just have to be the plan as presented, and the stop signs were not even a thought to them because it wasn't part of the plan. That's why I think it's.
But what we did talk
We did
about
bring it up.
was talking to Curtis, the gentleman that spoke during the public hearing, and he was talking about Elm Street, East and West Pine, getting Pollard on that list to be assessed as well. So that's part of this. Is we're going to reach out to that gentleman and see if we can get that looked at as a potential three-way stop.
Okay.
And then if, the thing with this, the timeline on this project isn't going to happen for
Right.
a couple years. So it just gives us time to start to prepare because, there's sidewalks we're going to need to address. There's maintenance over time that we're going to need to address. So it gives us a little time to plan ahead and try to figure out how we're going to.
What the cost is going to be.
Right, and it would be nice if we could at least get the stop signs up before, because that would start the calming ahead of time.
Well, and that's this stop sign projects happen a lot faster. So we could potentially see, like they were saying at the public hearing, the stop signs on East and West Pine could be in next spring, next summer. So we could potentially see that at Pollard or Elm Street sooner.
Right.
And then when they do the traffic calming, they would incorporate that into the
Yeah, because I mean,
at the time.
because stop signs are quick and easy.
Right.
So, but something needs to be done. And I do like how it's going to look. It was hard to visualize on a piece of paper, but there's going to be sidewalks, for people to safely walk up and down the street. It's going to narrow the road. Hopefully it will slow people down. So the plan is intended to do what they set out to do. I just hope they consider these requests and incorporate them into the plan. So
The ball in their court, waiting for them to come back now.
So we need to, we received the letter today, Jay and I received the letter today. It's here tonight for us to look at, and do we want to make any changes before it's sent out to DOT tomorrow?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think the letter is fine.
Okay.
I do know that Curtis did say that there were some people who had reached out to him after the public meeting saying that they liked the traffic calming. They just didn't want to speak out at the meeting because there were a lot of emotions
Gotcha.
going on.
Mhm.
And, that's important to hear. Like, it's a very passionate
Yeah.
conversation that we all need to have, and we're going to continue to have, I'm sure, until they start the work.
Yeah, and I do like the idea too, stopping right out here.
Yeah. And I do want them to look at the mini mart because I'm concerned about
Absolutely.
what's going to happen with,
No, it's a small business,
It's a
and
small
small-
community business.
and small business is tough enough as it is.
Yeah. And, that's his livelihood.
And I'll tell you, it was busy this afternoon there.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone getting their tickets for tonight.
Yep.
But it was busy going in and out of there. I mean, they need those parking spots.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't park around on Westville and you can't park
No,
down May Rate because it's not safe. Cutting across Main Street is not.
yeah, unless you can
In
park on
ideal-
May Ray, they'll give us like a little pedestrian bridge or something.
Maybe. Just get your lottery ticket.
Yeah. But no, it was, a day like today, it was busy going in and out of there.
Yeah.
So I think what will happen now, if we approve this with no changes tonight, we'll send the letter. That will trigger a public hearing, another public hearing. And what will happen is that we'll have a public hearing here. There'll be 3 counselors from the executive council.
The executive council will name a commission.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure who the commission is made up of, but
So that commission will preside here. There'll be another public hearing with our letter of support and then any feedback from the public, whether it's positive or negative. They'll sit here and preside over that and take it all into consideration and make a decision that night to move ahead or not. So we still have another hurdle to jump over.
Yep.
And then once that is done, then they will go out and look to secure the additional funding for the rest of the project.
Yeah, and I think it's important to get the ball rolling. This it's taken too long to get to this point.
Well, it's taken a long time. And then to just put the sinking of the traffic lights out to bid, and I hope they do that sooner rather than later. That might take a little bit of stress off of Main Street, and I also think that once they start the work, no one's going to be wanting to go up and down Main Street,
Yeah.
so that could be a plus.
Absolutely.
Start to deter people, and then once
know,
it's
And in the meantime, we get a couple stop signs up there that'll start it ahead of time.
Well, and hopefully they'll put the stop signs up,
Yeah. It's not even if they'd let us put them up.
They'll just put them up.
Do you need anything from us on this, Greg?
no.
No.
I have a couple of minor changes, but it's not going to change the
Okay.
overall letter, just some grammatical things, but
and I believe most of the admins that were present were mostly in consensus with this, or town employees.
yes.
Greg, we have to sign these, right?
There should be one in the signature folder.
Was there?
I didn't see one.
I didn't see one. Well, we can sign these anyways. The 3 of us are here.
All right.
So the only thing is I did have one thing in non-public I wanted to do. Did you have anything else?
Can
This
I?
was in the folder too, though. They're still taking the Gasset, they're still taking
Yep.
comments through tomorrow. So emails in support
Okay.
and the like. So that's
You sent
deadlines.
that to us earlier today too, I think.
Yes, the deadline is tomorrow, and then they're meeting on the 17th at the State House at 2:30.
Okay. All right, perfect. I just had one quick non-public.
I just want to say great job to Rec for the Christmas tree lighting
Yes.
last weekend. It went really well. It was well organized, and it just was fun to have that nice community event.
No, it was nice, and I wish
Santa did a great
Santa
job.
was available. I'd like to thank him personally.
I know Santa rocked it.
He did.
So thank
Little
you.
slow getting off the truck, but he got down.
Yeah. But, thank you to the Rec.
Yes, absolutely.
And then, they did a bang-up job.
And also the Girl Scouts that were singing.
The Girl Scouts did a great job singing.
They
yes.
certainly did, singing the Christmas carols.
Yep.
And Friends of Rec had, a cup of hot chocolate for everyone to take home with them. So
Yep.
it was a
And
nice
candy
event.
cane. It was a nice event.
It was a good event. All right, so is that, anybody have anything else they wanted to bring up?
No, sir.
Just we got invited to the Vic Gary Christmas party, so if you're available Thursday from 9 to 11 and can make it, I think Santa will be there. So if you want to get your picture taken, you can do that.
Boy, Santa can't get out of town.
Can't.
He's showing up. He's everywhere.
So just
He's
wanted to
in
mention
demand.
that. So any seniors in town want to come out and enjoy a holiday party, you can come to the Vic Gary December 18th from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m.
So we will go into non-public, and after non-public, we won't be coming back. So we should go in under,
See?
Yes.
I make a motion to enter non-public session under RSA 91-A:3 for reputation.
Second.
Floyd,
Yes.
Yes.
Ms. Costa.
Yes.
And we won't be coming back, so I want to wish everybody out there Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. And if we're not back the 29th, we'll see you next year. Just stay safe over the holidays. Thank you.
Thank
Merry
you.
Christmas.
Merry
Happy New Year.
Christmas, Happy New Year. Happy Hanukkah.